ever have those days where your energy crashes, your focus is nowhere to be found, and productivity feels impossible? Yeah, me too. Running on empty, struggling with motivation, and feeling totally burnt out, it is the absolute worst. That's why I use Alter Nutraceuticals. These supplements have been a lifesaver for me on days when I just don't have it in me. They help boost focus, productivity, and fat burning while supporting weight management and cognitive health. And the best part, it's all natural energy. No jitters, no crashes, just real results. If you're ready to finally feel in control of your energy and performance, head to alternutraceuticals.com and make sure to use the code Goalpreneur for 10% off your order. Trust me, your future self will thank you.
You're listening to the Goalpreneur podcast with Courtney Spaeth, the go-to place for ambitious and driven female entrepreneurs looking to elevate their business and life. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help you dream bigger, think bolder, and achieve your next level of success. No playing small here. Only strategies and encouragement to help you shine. And now, here's your host, educator, personal development enthusiast, and holistic esthetician, Courtney Spaeth.
Hey there, Goalpreneurs. I'm Courtney Spaeth, and I am joined today by a beautiful guest, Melanie Whittaker. She has an incredible story, a journey, growing up in England and then moving into Spain, and we're going to hear all about her journey and the type of work that she does and who she serves. So, Melanie, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to talk more with you because I know we chatted a couple weeks ago and got today set up. So, I'm going to pass it over to you, and I want you to tell us all the good stuff.
Oh, thank you so much, Courtney. Well, thanks for having me on your show. And yes, so I'm originally from England, and I decided I don't know if you heard about it living over there, but we had Brexit. So it meant that Britain had decided it wanted to be independent of Europe, which meant that if you were British and you wanted to go and live and work in Europe, then that was going to be very hard once the hammer went down, as all these things are. So I had a decision to make, and I love where I live in this beautiful island. And I just thought, if I don't go now, I will always have that thought in my head. I wonder if it would have worked out if I'd have just given it a go. And then I thought, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, I go back to England and I haven't lost anything. And so I arrived, and I just embraced everything that Spain has to offer. I love the weather. I love the Spanish. I love their lifestyle. I love island life. And my original thing that I did was I started working outside restaurants as front of house. So I was getting people to come in and have food and have drinks, which is easy, but not easy. It's easy as in the tourists are relaxed and they're on holiday. But you've also got that other side of the fence where no one really wants to talk to someone who's front of house. They just want to make their own mind up. They just want to stroll around and make their own decision. So you do have to come at it in a way that doesn't irritate, which at the end of the day, that's what anyone has to do if they're doing sales. So that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah. So Brexit, when did that happen?
It will be, well, I have lived out here nearly 7 years. So yeah, about 7 years ago.
Okay, I do remember hearing about that on the news and I think reading about it. Of course, I didn't know too much about Brexit. So that, you said that took England out of the
EU.
European Union,
Yeah.
Is that right? The EU?
To put it in context for you, when England was part of the EU, the English had as much right to live and work in Europe. The same rights as living in England, because we were part of the EU. The minute that England said, no, we don't want to be part of the EU and we want to go independent, means that now it's a lot harder for the British to move to Europe. There's a lot of red tape as these things go. They have got like a 90-day limit on how long they can stay. Then they have to leave Europe again. It's like if I was to go to America, I can't stay as long as I want.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to go on a visa.
Right. Right. I was just thinking about that. So it'd be like me wanting to go live over in England or anywhere in the European countries, really. Got to jump through some hoops.
Exactly.
Okay. So that was the jumping point for you to make a decision. And so you moved to Spain. And did you settle on a place right away, or did you kind of hop around different areas to see what you liked? Were there?
I knew the area I wanted to be in, and I pretty much stuck to that. But I have moved around on the island. It's such a beautiful island, and I wanted to try different places to get a feel for it. And it's like anything in life, like so many tourists ask me and they say, oh, where would you recommend to live on the island? And I always say to them, just come with an open mind. And especially if you want to buy, because I rent, and I always say, if you want to buy property, don't just buy somewhere. Come over, rent, move around, because living somewhere is completely different to being on holiday. And once you get to know areas, then you know if you're going to invest in a mortgage.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Is that on the plan for you? Is to purchase? Or do you have any inkling to go back to England?
It now, but it would be lovely to do one day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have no plan to go back to England anytime soon.
Oh God, no. Like I need hot weather. It's so funny. Like my friends will message me from England, even in summertime, saying, oh God, the weather's crap. And it's hot all year round. It's been beautiful today, a gorgeous sunny day.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can totally side with you on that. Coming from Wisconsin, we have the northern part. During the fall, winter, you have 7 months of just gray and dreariness, and the depression that sets in.
I can't do it.
People need sun. We need sunlight.
This was why I had to make
when you're living in a
conscious decision, because as soon as Brexit was getting closer and closer, I really struggled with seasonal affective disorder. The short days, the being cold, the fact that you're in the grey all the time, the fact that life just feels hard, you're constantly trying to be warm, and it's just not something that I enjoy. When you say fall, but we say autumn. So when it goes into autumn, fall, and people are like, oh, I love it, I can put on my jumpers and have hot chocolate. I'm like, no, give me flip-flops and bikinis every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like fall, autumn. I do love the weather, the sweaters, the bonfires, the cider, the coziness of it. But I'm good for a couple weeks and it's like, nope, I need summer back. I need that warm weather, sunshine. A lot of people feel like that. We crave the sun. It energizes us.
Honestly, it's interesting because obviously the Spanish are known for being friendly and happy. The interpretation you have of a Spanish person, and you can so understand why. I mean, there's palm trees everywhere, beaches, the sun's out every day. They live in flip-flops most of the time. Like, it's a big deal to them. We had tropical rain first thing this morning, which is unique. We don't get it often. And I swear to God, when we get rain, the kids come out and they're like, Papa, aqua, aqua. To them, it's like, oh my God, water. They find that unique.
Yeah. That's amazing. And the brighter days, the nicer weather, the brighter days, I feel as entrepreneurs or business owners, people with that creative mindset, that makes a huge difference too.
Oh, I tell you what I've started to
do you agree?
Because I've been guilty of it, and I know we all are, because we get so into what we're doing, and before you know it, an afternoon's gone and you're like, oh my God, I haven't been out. What I've started doing now is going out. I mean, God, I'd be stupid not to live in where I do, but I go out and I go for walks and just clear my mind and just walk down by the beach or I love palm trees, so go and look at palm trees or go and smell the tropical flowers and just be outside, because that's when you get those spontaneous hits. You're pushing, you
Mm-hmm.
make yourself work, you're on the treadmill of life, even though I enjoy what I do, but you need that escape time where you're just not in it. And then when you come back, you're like,
Yeah.
goodness, I've got all these ideas in my head now.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Totally. Totally. So you're in PR, you're in marketing. Were you doing that in England and then okay, so just carried over. How is let's see, how can I word this? How is what you do now different from when you were working in England? Is it the same, or did you have to shift how you were serving your clients
Totally.
or your customers?
Some of it, like when I've always been a secretary when I lived in England. So obviously with being a secretary, you need to have organization, you need to have a schedule, deadlines, all of that. So that serves me well when it comes to PR, because you can have a lot of deadlines where you have to submit something by a certain time. Obviously, I need to have my schedule up to date, not only for myself, but for my clients. Like, let them know that what certain things that are important and they can't miss. But it's different as in, okay, so I always worked for a boss when I was a secretary in England, but not like this. This is a whole different way of working. When I work with someone now and I'm doing PR for them, it's their business. So it's a very close one-to-one relationship. Like, they can contact me anytime and say, oh, do you think we could hop on a call? Or they've got messages that they want to send me. It's a very close working relationship, and it's completely different from being in corporate, because that's their business.
Mm-hmm.
They get to make the choices. And doing PR is giving them all these platforms to be on and increase their visibility. And, there's a lot at stake there. Like, they want to be presented in a good way. And they're totally being themselves. When you're in corporate, you have to, fit yourself into a box and be a certain persona. When you're a business owner, you can be whatever you want to be. And so when you do
Yeah.
PR, you're literally putting that person out to the world and saying, this is this person, they do this, 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 like you're interviewing me now. And they get to just be themselves on whatever they're doing, whether it's a podcast interview or writing an article for a magazine or appearing on digital TV, like whatever the thing may be, they're just being themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with the PR and the marketing, are you seeing majority of your people in Spain or in Europe, or are you working
I
with
haven't got one.
clients all over?
They're everywhere. I haven't got one client in Spain, but to be fair, I mean, I'm sure that I could get them. But because I'm from England, obviously I know the British market really well. And I go to lots of networking meetings online. And so predominantly, most of my clients are British or American, but I've had them in Australia. And I do have some people in Europe in communication with me. I've got other countries over there that are circling around me. So to be fair, I've not had any in Spain, but I wouldn't dismiss it if someone wanted it.
Yeah, yeah. With the networking events, what are you noticing people are asking you about?
Well, it's
Are they
interesting.
looking for more visibility? Are they looking for branding? Are they looking for to to be noticed by TV or other publications? What are they asking you about or wanting your
I,
expertise in?
I literally speak to two kinds of women every day. So I could have a woman who wants to get on a call with me and she 100% knows PR. She knows why she wants it and she just wants to get going. Then I have another type of woman who is curious. She's been seeing how I market myself. She's seeing what I do for clients. And she's like, I keep seeing you talk about PR, but I don't fully know what you do. And I don't know if it would help my business. And the biggie that a lot of women, well, there's two things that women hold themselves back on. Women will say to me, but I'm doing social media and emails. Isn't that enough? And I will say, of course it's enough. You can still build a very successful business off that. But your growth will be slower. When you add PR, you're casting out your business like a big net in the ocean, catching fish, and you're being seen on so many platforms. Because putting it into context, every time you post on social media and on your emails, you are going to talk to the same people. They're not going to see every post or email, and you are talking to the same people. And so when you are casting that net out, you are bringing in new people to you every day. Now new people are like, oh, I didn't know this person existed. I'm going to check this person out, da, da, da. But then I also have women who will say things like, but I don't see why I should do PR right now because I'm not that well established. My competition, she's got a huge following and I can't compete with that. And so what I say to them is, what you have to realize is the woman you're comparing yourself to, she reached a point in her career where she was like, I'm fed up being the unheard voice. I'm fed up being in the shadows. I'm fed up not having clients, and I'm going to get serious now. This is it, big time. I'm getting out there. The world's going to know about me. And so what I say to them is, I will never force someone to do PR. That's a personal decision, but you will reach her point at some point. And I don't know when that day will happen. It could be next week. It could be a few weeks, a few months, a few years. But you will reach the point where you're like, I'm fed up with the struggle. And I want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is so destructive when you are at starting point A and you're looking at somebody else's
Yeah.
end point or midway point. That is so destructive and can crush any goal or dream that you have. It's that comparison. That is.
Understand why they say it, because look, we all do comparisonitis. It's part of being a human being, and when you work online,
Oh, for sure.
you can't help but see what people do. The reason that they say it to me is it's because they don't feel worthy, and PR is putting you out there for everyone to see you. So when they say that to me, they're like, I'm not established enough. Like, there's no way I can compete with her. Like, if you was to do PR for her, she's just going to go, oh. Whereas me, I'm this tiny little fish in a big pond. And I'm like, the beauty of PR is that once you get into it, you stop looking at the competition. And I always say it to my clients, you need to stay in your own lane. Do you? Yes, pay attention to your competition. It's good to know what's going on. But don't worry what they're doing, because you're the one steering your ship. And it's hard sometimes for a woman to feel like she's worthy of PR when she's not even halfway to that woman's capabilities. She then thinks, well, who am I to even start? I need to start getting bigger before you even take me seriously. So it's self-worth at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you take actors, actresses, musicians. Okay. They all have platforms. Some are smaller, some are bigger. But then once PR comes in, the publicist, it's like they just explode overnight.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own starting point. Everybody has their own path, their own journey. Like you said, keep your eyes on your path. You're steering your own ship. Don't concern yourself with what other people are doing. That's a dream killer. That's a goal killer. It's going to cause negative beliefs.
Yeah.
And that is like your downward spiral. You're just going down from there.
Precisely.
So keep your ship afloat. Keep steering your ship in the right direction. Everybody has their own path that they're navigating, and
Right.
they will succeed if you, like you said, if you keep those things in mind.
Precisely.
So when you're talking about PR with a client or potential client, what are you looking for in them? Are you looking at their website, at their branding, at their social media?
Right. I have a very clear criteria before onboarding anybody. So to give you an example, I've got a potential client who's circling around me at the moment, and she's pivoting in her business. And she's got some amazing ideas, she's got big dreams, and she's going to get them. But what I said to her is, you need to get your website and your social media to match the pivot. Now, here's the thing. I can go and get her PR, not a problem. But here's where, if a client doesn't do what's necessary, it's a waste of your time doing PR. So if your website and your social media does not match who you are online when you're going to do your PR, there's a disconnect and there's confusion. So to give you an example, imagine someone's listening to a podcast interview and they're like, oh, I really like this person. I'm going to check out their website, which I do want to say people are doing now. They're doing due diligence like never before. So they're going to go, they're going to check your website out. They're going to check out your social media. And if it doesn't match the person that was in the interview, they're going to go, not quite getting this. Now, that's not for the client to understand. You are supposed to make your marketing concise, easy to understand, and you need to be real and relatable. And what I want to say, because I work with so many coaches, the coaching industry has had a bad rap for a while because so many of them want to sell this perfect life online. And I don't go with that. So let's say I have a woman who wants me to fill a retreat or fill some VIP days. When I sit down with her, we're preparing the pitch, I dig. Now, I'm not a journalist, I'm completely self-taught, but I'm nosy. So I dig and I go back as far as she wants to go. And let me give you an example. She could say that she had a miscarriage, okay? And I would then say to her, would you feel comfortable discussing that with your PR? I'm never going to force you, but would you feel comfortable? Her knee-jerk reaction would be, but why do we need to discuss that? We're filling a retreat. What's that got to do with it? And I always say to them, forget this perfect persona that all these coaches have wanted to portray. I guarantee you now that there will be a woman who comes across you with your PR interviews who's either just going through a miscarriage now, or she went through one a few years ago. And immediately there's a connection between you two that would never have been made otherwise. So I'm not saying that you have to do it. If you don't want to do it, we don't do it. But you have to realize that people connect with people over so many things. Could be your taste in music. It could be the fashion you wear. It could be where you were brought up. It could be a very strong core value. I always say to my clients, let the world know your core values. Don't be afraid to stand there and die on the hill for what you feel passionately about, because that will draw in your ideal client. So instead of going, oh, but I can't say that because then people will get upset. Who cares? People are going to cast aspersions on everything. It's being human. But what you need to do is go, I'm not trying to please everyone. I'm going to do my PR as me, because eventually if someone hires me, we're going to get on Zoom calls. They're going to get to know the real me. So I'm just going to be real from the get-go. And when you're real from the get-go and you're talking about the highs and the lows of life, now you're real and relatable. And now people are like, oh, I actually like her. I think I could see myself working with her. And now they're drawn to you because you're just being a real person, not this perfect coach.
Oh my gosh, that hits home so much. Talking about, trust me, I am not perfect, and I talk about struggles. I'm not shy about that. But you look at all of these coaches, all of these people, entrepreneurs online, and putting out to the world that, ooh, I'm untouchable, I'm perfect, I have the perfect life, everything is great. I believe this, my opinion. They put out this fake front to let everybody know that somehow they have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make it relatable to anybody. Because now I'm sitting there looking at this, watching this, and it's like, oh, why would I want to work with this person when they're so far beyond me and I'm struggling in this area? They'll never understand it.
It's because they
So
want to make
I
sales.
do,
So it's like, I get to live this
yeah.
perfect life. So I live here and I wear these clothes and I go on these holidays. And they're dangling the carrot saying, well, if you throw in loads and loads of money to my coaching, you can have this too. It's just a facade. Nobody has the perfect life. Even Richard Branson, who's a, I don't know, billionaire, I suppose. Like,
Oh gosh.
he,
Yeah.
even he has damn days, you know what I mean? So it's, excuse my French, it's bullshit. I will not buy into that. And if a woman approached me and said,
Absolutely.
do my PR, I wouldn't do it. I would just say, you're putting an image out to the world that isn't true. And I cannot stand behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more relatable you are, letting people, strangers, your viewers, letting them into your life
Mm.
makes you relatable, makes you a little bit more trustworthy. And it just opens up a whole other world to, it opens other doors for those potential clients to come in and say, oh my gosh, I can totally resonate with you on this. I agree with you on that. Oh my gosh, I like that too. I would really like to work with you. Now I feel like we're on the same page. So I think that's so important. And for you to hold true to what you believe too,
Yeah. Like,
saying,
I don't want to say,
you're not going to.
the thing is, when I lived in England, there was a time when I was working as a secretary on the trading floors of investment banks. And I know ego. I know men puffed up like peacocks, dripping in Armani and Gucci, and making loads of money on the stock market and drinking Dom Perignon like it's water. And I'm not knocking that because that is what it is. But I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, if these perfect coaches want to depict this, why didn't they go into finance? Go join a hedge fund or go and join some major finance entity and be big-headed there, because people are people. They're not a commodity. They're not something you buy. They're real people with feelings, and they've hired you because they need support. That's why we should do it.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. With the people that you have worked with, was there ever a time that you took on a client, but then midway through, it's like, oh my gosh, this maybe isn't the right fit for either of us?
I,
Or maybe you felt that way?
not necessarily in that way, but I did have a situation where someone wanted to work with me, but they weren't at the criteria that I needed. So I laid that out and said, right now, it's not a good fit. But if you go off and do X, Y, Z, we can regroup. But right now, the way I work and the way that this is being presented, it's just not going to work. But if we're going to
Mhm.
D it up,
Mhm.
then we can have another conversation. And that is the way that I approach PR. And if I was to be in a situation where it was like, oh God, what have I done? I'm very upfront. I'm about as subtle, I would say I'm as subtle as a sledgehammer. So if I was feeling something was wrong, I always say to my clients, look, obviously we're all busy. I could be on a podcast interview myself like now, but I always say to my clients, if you need me, message me. I may not be available immediately, but we will have a conversation before we go to bed. or if you're in a different time zone within the next 24 hours, okay? So here's why I do that. PR is a beast. It moves fast, okay? Which I suppose is another reason why I loved working on trading floors of investment banks, because I'm used to deadlines and pressure and go, go, go. And PR's the same. If you have an opportunity, we got to go. And what I always say to clients is, don't feel like you're annoying me. So you may have messaged me 10 times and now you're like, oh, I can't message her again. I've messaged her so many times. I'll leave it till tomorrow. And I always say, don't sit on something, because the more you sit on it, someone could grab that opportunity. So we need to act. But then what I also say is, if you want to call, message me and say, Mel, are you free? Can we hop on a call? And it could be about anything. It could be, I'm worried about this PR opportunity that's coming up. Can I just chew the fat with you about it? Or something's feeling a bit off. Can we chat about it? Or can we make some tweaks? Can we make some changes? But likewise, if I was feeling that with a client, I would ask them to get on a call. And I would say, can we have a conversation? Because I'm feeling something's not right. And I would put my side to the table and let them bring their side to the table, and let's see how we can remedy it.
Okay. So was there ever a client that you were working with that was like, no, we're doing it this way. Here's what I want from you. Like somebody very headstrong. Did you ever run into that? Or are people like, you're the expert here, you give me advice?
Fortunately, I've not had it. I do
Good.
think that one day it could happen, you know. It could be maybe personality clash, whatever. Here's the thing, and I will say this about anything because, hey, I need support too. I've got a lovely woman who's helped me with all my techie stuff. I'm not a techie expert. I'm not even going to pretend I am. And she laughs about how I'm so crap when it comes to technology. Here's the thing. When I get on a conversation with her, I don't come to the conversation like the tech guru, because I'm not. So when I get on a conversation with her, I listen to her. I need to know information that she's going to tell me that I know nothing about. So why am I going to come to a call like the big I am when I know and she knows I don't know it? Be humble. So if I was working with someone, thank God it's not happened, but I do think, could it happen? And what would I do? If I was working with someone and they were like, nope, this is how it's going to be, it would depend on the situation. If I ethically did not want to do it for whatever reason, it would be a bye-bye, because I feel very strongly about the contacts I have. I feel very strongly about me giving you a platform. And if you want to do something that I just don't stand behind, then I would just say, no hard feelings. This isn't a good fit. Let's call it a day. If it was someone that wanted to throw their weight around and say, no, I'm doing this and you can forget this, and they weren't willing to learn or to see something from another side of the fence. If I was coming up and it felt like we were butting heads all the time and it was just hard to work with them, I would just say, I don't feel this is a good fit, because every time we come and get on a call, you're not happy. And no matter what I'm trying to do, you're not listening to me. And I take on board that you have a different mind to me and you're seeing things from a different lens. I get that. But what you need to realize is you've hired me to do PR. And so it's my duty to tell you what I know. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right, but I do have a duty to say, it's best you do this and it's best you don't do this. Now, what you do is what you do. But if you're going to get into an argument with me about it, and that was to keep on happening like it was a regular thing, I would just say it's not a good fit. You know, if you're working with clients, money isn't everything. We need money. We need money. But I feel so happy to work with clients that when I get a message or I know that we're going to hop on a call, I can't wait for that to happen. I'm not like, oh God, I got to get on a call and this is going to be hard work. If I was feeling that, it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you hit that point in that relationship, it's like, okay, you can either keep trudging along and just feeling less and less, or it's like, nope, this is not a good fit anymore. I think it's best we part ways.
Absolutely.
That's just keeping the morale up for both parties. But I will say, as a former full service salon owner, when I first started out in business, I felt like I had to take any and all clients
Yeah,
whenever they wanted to have an appointment. I'm like, for sure, I can rearrange my schedule. So that struggle, that point is real. That's a hard one to break. It took me a while to break that and to get to kind of the point that you're at where it's like, no, I vet them first, and then if it is a good fit, then yeah, I'll take you on as a client. Otherwise, you just get that vibe
yeah,
where it's like, something feels off. I don't know what it is, but I don't think this is going to work.
absolutely.
I will say that is 100% true.
Absolutely. And it's important because with PR, someone's literally saying, here's my business, away you go, right? And you're literally presenting them to the world on whatever platform we're doing. So there's a duty of trust they're giving you. And I take that very
Mhm.
seriously because it isn't my business. Like, let me give you an example. I have a nickname with my clients as being called Tigger from Winnie the Pooh because I'm super excitable. And when I see something, I'm like, oh my God. Now, I can see a PR opportunity and be like, oh my God, they have to do this. But here's the thing, I don't present it like that. Even though I want to, even though inside I'm like, oh my God, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. I always present PR and say, what are your thoughts on this? Right? I don't put any emotion into it because I don't want them feeling I'm telling them to do something, right? Here's the
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
If they turn around and say, I don't know, it's not really grabbing me, I can kind of give my kind of experience and what I think it could do and let them see it from a different angle that maybe they've not seen. And when I do that and it's still a no, I let it go. For the simple reason, they are the one propping the PR. They are the PR, right? If their energy is not behind a podcast interview or writing an article, it will come across. So as much as I think it's amazing, it's their business. So I'm
Mhm.
excited and everyone knows I'm excitable, but I never present it in a way that they feel bullied into it because I want it to be a natural yes from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking back at some of the notes from our first conversation. I do remember you telling me about your nickname, Tigger. Thought that was so funny. Um, when you're talking to clients about visibility and social media and opportunities, um, how do you go about picking out opportunities that you think would be best for them?
Yeah. So what happens is right at the very get-go, I ask my clients two questions. And the first question will always be, why do you want to do PR? Now, the obvious thing would be, well, I need to fill a retreat or I need to sell a book or whatever it is. Okay. Then what I do is say, what are we going to do with the people when we find them? Because as we know, there's always something to see online. And if you don't grab people when you've got them, they're going to move on to something else. So we need a
Mhm.
plan on what's happening. Are they going to a sales page? Do you want them to hop on a call with you? Are they going to your email list? Like, what are we doing? Then this is a question that sounds really corporate, but it's so important. I say to them, what's the big vision for your business? So as much as you want to sell a retreat or whatever it is you're selling, for you and your life and your business, because your business is an extension of you, what's the vision? What's that big ass vision that you're gunning for, right? That helps me establish where we're going, what direction we're going in, who are we drawing in? Yeah. Look, I know that there are a lot of podcast hosts that get really fed up with PR agencies sending emails on behalf of their clients, because a lot of the times it's not a good fit, and it's obvious it's not a good fit, but they're just sending out mass emails hoping someone's going to say yes. That's not the way I work. I've done a pitch on my clients, so I know who they are, what they do, how they go about it, who their ideal client is, how, just I know everything about them, right? So I then, when I'm looking at the PR and I see these opportunities, I then know whether they're a good fit, but it has to work two ways, because I want the pitch and the press release to be that when they open that email, they're like, hell yeah, we have to meet this person. Like, they're ideal. Because I look at it from the person opening the email. They're selfish. They're cynical because they get loads of emails all the time. So they're jaded. And on top of that, the question in their head is going to be, will my community want to know about this? And once you've put it in a way that they're like, oh yeah, our community is always asking these questions. We know this is a block that they deal with all the time, whatever the thing may be, right? Then you straight away are perfect for them, because they're like, oh my goodness, they're constantly asking these questions. We're always talking about this topic. Yes, we want you. And so that's how I know whether they're a good fit for things that I see.
So talking about the social media landscape, let's talk about that. How, when you're working with clients and getting them more visible on social media, whatever platform that is, and with the algorithm always changing, I feel like that, my gosh, there's nothing more frustrating than doing something and getting great results, and then all of a sudden it's like crickets. It's awful. So what are you doing with your clients and social media? Like, what do you see happening?
Okay, so I knew that this year the marketing landscape would change. I 100% knew. And here's the thing. It's interesting. When I get on calls with clients, we don't discuss the algorithm and we don't discuss the open rate of emails. And the reason we don't ever discuss it is we can't control it, right? So yes, you can put up a post on social media, it could do really well, and then you can put up another one and it dies, right? We never ever can control social media and email. So there's no point having that discussion. What we can control is where they're going to show up. And so criteria. If someone wants to work with me, they have to have a strong presence online. So if someone was to come to me and say, oh yeah, I want you to do PR for XYZ, and I go on their socials and maybe they're posting twice a week, not a good fit. Not a good fit. I need you Monday to Friday. It's got to happen. Okay, life gets in the way. You might miss a few days, but you get back on the horse again. Ideally, I'd like them to do the weekend. And the weekend doesn't have to be business. It's just being yourself. Like out with the kids or out with the dog or out with friends. Like, it doesn't matter. Just be yourself. Keep the algorithm happy, obviously, because you're on it. But what I say to my clients, which fits in with PR, it's about communication. Now, communication is not just slapping up a post and that's that. It's about being in good communication with people wherever you are. So whether they have responded to a post that they may have put a comment on your post, get into a conversation with them. Maybe you see someone who's put a post up on social media and you like that post, get into a conversation with them. What I highly recommend is when you're in Facebook groups, you can go in any Facebook group and there's so many people asking you to buy something. But here's the reality. No one cares. No one cares. And unless someone knows who you are in a Facebook group, no one cares. So what you need to do is be building relationships with people on the daily. That could be in a Facebook group. It could be on all the different social media apps that people are on. Obviously, you're going to do your PR when you're with me. So you're going to cultivate relationships. People are going to reach out to you and say, hey, really love this interview. Could I have a conversation? Or, oh, I really like what you said. Can I hop on a call? Like, this is what's happening for Matt. You know, it's interesting. I never force people to do things just the way I do them. Just because I like them does not mean that you will. But there are certain apps that I love, and I don't make my clients do it, but I've told my clients why I like it, and they followed suit, and they're liking it too. Now, that's not because I've said you must do it. I don't do that, because I always say, again, energy. If you don't like the app, don't be on it, right? But what is happening is when I gave them the reason why I'm on these apps, which is I'm having great conversations, it's leading to things are happening because of it, I'm doing collaborations, all kinds of things are happening, right? And I said to them, give it a week of your life. Just give that app a week of your life. And if you don't like it, walk away, do something else, stick with what you're doing, right? Every single one that I have said, go on and do that app, just give it a go, they're still on it. Because what is happening for me and the way they're doing it, because the way I do it, they're loving it too, because they're getting the same responses and the same kind of results that I'm getting. Because guess what? When I go on the apps, I'm not trying to bash you over the head and make you buy something. I'm actually having a conversation. And that's where social media gets lost with a lot of business owners, because they feel the pressure. Oh my God, I've got to sell. I've got to sell. Relax. Go on social media and just talk to people. Talk to them. They're human beings having a day like you. Go and converse with them.
Yeah. That was one thing that I heard from a mentor of mine. It said social media is social. Don't put your stuff out there and then not engage
Exactly.
with other people. If somebody comments, you have an hour time frame to respond. Well, suggested an hour time frame to respond back, so that the system, the algorithm can keep up and say, ooh, okay, there's a lot of engagement on this one. I'm going to keep pushing this out. And I'm totally guilty of this too. Excuse me. In the past, I would post something and forget about it. And I am not a fan. I mean, I like social media, but I don't love social media.
Yeah.
I have other things more valuable things that I could be doing with my time than sitting on social media connecting with people, but I know it is needed. So a totally separate mentor said, yes, social media is supposed to be social. However, the selling should be just very minimal. Don't use your platform for just sell, sell, sell. You need to develop those relationships with those people before you even think about selling them anything.
I always say when it comes to your marketing, when your marketing is done well, it does the heavy lifting of the selling. Because here's the thing, right? And we know, because we all do it, we'll come across someone online that we've never met before. And we're like, oh my goodness, I quite like this person. And then what do you find yourself doing? You go down a rabbit hole and you're like looking at the reels that they've done and looking at posts that they've put out. And then you're like, oh my goodness, they have this program. Oh, I'll check out this program. Or, oh, they're having this workshop. Or, oh, they're doing this. And you're like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this. Even if it's just a freebie, you're like, I like this person, so I'm going to sign up. And so what I say to my clients is, don't put pressure on, I've got to sell, I've got to sell. Instead, just know that it's a digital fingerprint of who you are. And just let the marketing speak for you, as in who you are as a person, your vibe, your energy. Every single person that speaks to me, whether it's a potential client or it's a client, or it could be someone who's not even a client, but we just are doing a collaboration together. Everyone says to me, which I find it's a compliment. They always say, I like your energy. And I'm like, I'm just being me. I'm not trying to be liked. I'm not trying to fit myself into this square shape so that you'll like me. What I'm doing is being me. If you don't like me, I'm still good. If you like me, cool. But I'm not trying to score brownie points. And that's how you need to
Mhm.
be with your social media. Just be yourself.
Yes, exactly. I think a lot of people are afraid of the kickback or the comments, negative comments, and the judgment from friends or family or acquaintances or people that they met years ago or potential clients. I think people are so afraid to be themselves, like we were talking about earlier, putting on that fake front.
Mm.
But there's this video, and I don't remember who it's from, but she pops up in my feed all the stinking time, and she goes, "Say the weird thing." And it's just whenever I'm doing something, I'm like, it's that voice in my head. It's like, "Say the weird thing." And she goes into this whole video. But I mean, it's catchy. But yes, be yourself, be authentic, and show people the real you.
Yeah.
It's building that know, like, and trust factor.
You see, the thing is, and it's a hard pill to swallow for women because we want to be liked. It's just the way women are wired, right? I do have conversations with some of my clients where they're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do this. And oh, I'd really love to post this, but it could be controversial. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, well, I really like it. And I'm like, then this is your platform. This is your social media. You know, this is where it's gone a bit crazy in the social media world. And as we know, the world is nuts right now. And people have an opinion over nothing. They really do. And I've reached a point in my life. Yes, of course, I want to be liked, but I'm still going to sleep well if I come across people in my day that don't like me. Because guess what? I come across people in my day that I don't like, but they're never going to know because I'm nice and I'm civil and I get on with my day. So what I say to my clients is, whether it's PR, whether it's doing a social media post, whether it's doing an email, a newsletter, I don't care what the thing is, just be yourself. Because if you're trying to be something that everybody expects, or you're like, well, if I do that, everyone will like me, not everyone's gonna like you. It's not possible. It's just not possible.
Right.
So stop putting
Yeah.
energy to it and instead go, you know what? I'm gonna be me, and if being me means that I get some pushback, so be it. But the one person that I know out there needs to hear this is going to love it. So it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Out of all of the billions upon billions of people in this world, there is a large pond of people waiting for what you have to offer.
So true.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. So there was I was taking a look at your website. Be your what is
It's
it?
called
youareyourmarketing.com.
You Go Marketing. Yeah.
Yes, youareyourmarketing.com. I was taking a look at your website and I saw that you have a membership starting March.
It's
Is that
starting
correct?
the end of March. And the reason that I'm doing a membership is right now, the only way you can work with me is one-to-one. Now, I'm going to say PR, I love working one-to-one because it's just easier when it's one-to-one. But what I've come across is there are people that either cannot afford my one-to-one rates or they want to dip their toe into it without feeling like they're like tied to something. So what's going to happen is with my PR membership, you're going to pay a monthly rate. You come in, I do your pitch, I do your press release. We look at what you're going to launch, what your offers are. We're going to then find out, and I find the PR for you, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to do question and answer twice a month, and it will always be there. You can see it in your own time with time zones and everything. And I've got lots of media contacts that have big platforms. And I've asked them and I've said, I would love for you to come into the membership and give your knowledge. And every single one of them said, absolutely. Absolutely. So they're going to come in with the platform they have and tell them how to sell themselves well. right? Which is selling themselves well to their platform, but it's going to help with all the other PR opportunities that come their way, because they're going to say, the media looks for this, and this is a big no-no, so don't do that. Like, they're just going to come in and give their knowledge. And so I'm super excited for this, because I know women are they're going to learn a lot.
That's amazing. I think Facebook groups memberships are so valuable. I belong to a couple, and they are so valuable. And I love like the monthly guest host, where they just impart their wisdom and share their knowledge, their experience, their journey of what worked, what didn't work. I completely appreciate when that happens, because it's like, wow, now I get a new door open to somebody else that I didn't even know existed. Or, yeah, I heard about that person, but didn't really know what they offered. So this is kind of like dipping the toe in and having an opportunity. I think that's amazing. And I saw the people, you had, I think,
I am so excited.
5 guests.
They have a lot. They have big platforms. And so not only will they come in and share their knowledge, but they're going to have them on their platforms. That's a big deal. You know, we're not talking a few thousand. We're talking massive.
Millions.
Yeah, massive. So to get seen on these platforms is a big deal. It's a big deal. And I am so honored that they want to do that. Like, they're coming to the table and they're saying, absolutely, we want to help these people. Of course we want to help them.
Yeah. That's so great. That's so amazing. We are almost out of time, but I wanted to talk to you about so kind of shifting gears a little bit. So what is one of your most memorable or humorous experiences working with a client? Do you have any that come to the top of mind? Maybe it was somebody that had a small following, but they were following your advice, the plan that you've laid out for them, and it was just like their results were totally amazing.
Well, this is really good. So, as I said to you, I never force my clients to be on a social media app, because there's so many of them and we can only do so many. And I had said to one of my clients, because she wasn't enjoying LinkedIn, and I got to admit, there was a time when I didn't like it. And so I said to her, she's an artist, and I said, for what you do, it's going to be very good for you. You could find customers on there who want to buy your art, but also because she's so into her PR and she's embraced it and she's doing so well. I said, you're going to come across journalists, you're going to come across people in radio, TV, like you're going to start rubbing shoulders now with people. She started on there and she had about 39 followers. And in the space of 2 weeks, she shot up to 300 and odd. And
Whoa.
Yes, she messaged me last Friday, and she lives in England. And she said, guess what? I've had a TV channel reach out to me and they want to film me at my house from LinkedIn. They found me on LinkedIn. And I was like, so what I've said to my clients is, of course, I'm going to run around and get you PR. But when you're on LinkedIn, what you have to realize is you're going to rub shoulders with people that could be in your niche. They're of the same category as you. So it could be another artist, as in her case. So if you're a coach, you could rub shoulders with other coaches. It could be therapists, other clients. There's so many people that you're going to connect with on LinkedIn that you wouldn't meet on other platforms. So I'm just blown away. Like, she was a bit like, I don't know, I find it a bit boring. And I was like, I'm not forcing you. Give it a week. Just give it a week. And if you don't like it, come off it and carry on as you are. She shot up from 30, I think it was 39 to 300 and odd now in the space of 2 weeks. And
wow, that's amazing.
The TV channel are going to come round to her tomorrow and record her. So there you go.
That's so cool.
All because she had an open mind to being on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and sometimes it just takes one person to like give that little nudge.
Yeah.
To say, do it. Just go. Sometimes people just need that one person.
Yeah.
And you were that person for her. And look what it did. That is so amazing.
It's about
Oh my gosh. So out of all of the platforms, I mean, there's a lot out there. So the big ones, you have Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you got Threads. So for professionals like your client, LinkedIn would be the most
listen, so
sought after one, right?
I'm loving. So let me just set the scene. I have a presence on Facebook and Instagram all the time. I'm not a lover of those platforms because the algorithm isn't great. And as we know with Facebook, people can have a row about nothing and it can produce a lot of moany attitude. And I don't like that. I just go on, I know what I'm doing. I love being in groups that I love because sometimes it's getting me PR for clients. So when I go on Facebook, I know why I'm on it. I don't want to be on it a long amount of time because it's not a platform I love. Instagram I love, but the algorithm's crap. So I'm not going to spend loads and loads of time making a reel when it may not get great views. That's not to say that I don't go on there. I do. I'm on it every day. Right now, what I am absolutely loving is Threads. Threads is amazing. The positive energy on that platform is phenomenal. Business owners are on there. They're like, I'm looking to do a collaboration. I do XYZ. Who wants to talk? Or you could get a podcast host saying, hey, I've got a podcast. I talk about XYZ. Who wants to come on it? Like, I'm seeing these posts all the time. And it's a very positive platform. So I'm getting a lot of opportunities coming my way because of that. And then I'm loving LinkedIn. LinkedIn was a slow burner for me. I had it for years and I didn't like it. It just felt really kind of like, what's the point? Now what I'm seeing with LinkedIn is my following's growing every day without me even trying. Like I'm on there and I'm active every day, but it's just growing because the algorithm knows I'm on there, it's rewarding me, and because of the content I'm putting out, people are paying attention to it. So I'm happy about that, and I know that I'm like my client, I'm meeting people on there because it's a networking platform. So it's amazing. YouTube, I did a YouTube channel, I let it slide, and this year I'm going to go heavy on my YouTube. So that's my 3 that I'm really going to cater for: Threads, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Still going to do my Facebook and Instagram, but it's not something I'm putting all my energy into. It still going to be there. You'll still find me there, but it's not my passion.
Okay. How do you feel about email lists?
Yeah.
Do you suggest your clients keep building those up just because of what we
Yeah.
saw with what happened with TikTok? That going away.
It is.
People's livelihoods.
I'm going to hold my hand up and say I haven't got a big list at all. But it is important that you do build your email list simply because, as we saw, look, at the end of the day, and this is what it's so easy to forget, and you hear it all the time, but you hear it and then you just get on with your day, and we all do. At the end of the day, that app isn't your property. And if the app suddenly dissolves tomorrow, or you don't have access to it anymore, or they could suspend your account, or all kinds of things that go on, right? What are you going to do then? So any business owner is always going to say, you need to be looking at different ways of things coming into you. So the same with your social media, you need to be on different apps, but don't overstretch yourself. I mean, obviously, like one of my clients, she has a team that does her social media. She doesn't have to worry about it because she's got a team doing it. Well, not everyone has that ability to have that. So if it's just you doing your social media, just pick, I would say, I know that I can just bash out Facebook and Instagram in my sleep. I'm not even worried about it. It'll be done. Then I would pick 3 social media apps after that and go hard on it and be active, because some people will go on a social media app and then they'll go, nothing's really happening, and then I'll say, well, how active are you? How many posts are you putting up in a week? And they'll be like, maybe 2. That's doing nothing. That's doing nothing. You have to be active. Yeah. So grow your email list. Be active on social media. Obviously, when you put your PR to it, PR is like adding a rocket to your marketing because more people are finding you.
Okay. Interesting. So if somebody listening, they're like, Melanie is my person. She is somebody I need to work with. I need to have on my team. I need to know more about her membership, what she does, how she can help me. Where can they find you?
So
what like social media? What is that?
So if they go on my website, which is youareyourmarketing.com, I put my email address on there so they can send me an email. If they go on social media, they can find me as Melanie Whittaker, and I'm the girl with you can't see it now because I've got my hair up, but I've got pink hair. And Whittaker spelled WHITTAKER. And then they will find me on Instagram as You Are Your Marketing. Same again on Threads. And they will find me on LinkedIn as Melanie Whittaker, which again is spelled WHITTAKER, and again, pink hair. So you're going to see pink everywhere you go when you find me on these apps. So that's how you can find me.
Amazing. I like your pink hair. I think it's vibrant. I think it's fun. It fits your personality.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
I think that's great. And I am going to put all of your links into the show notes. So make it nice and easy for people listening to go right into the show notes and just click. So I'll have those links uploaded. Melanie, thank you so much for today. This was amazing talking about PR and how to be more visible and the nudge people need to just be authentic. It's okay. We're not that people need our permission to go ahead and be authentic on social media, but Melanie is giving you the nudge to put yourself out there, to be yourself and be authentic. People need what you have to offer.
The thing is,
So my listeners,
before we wrap it up, because if someone's listened to this interview and they know they are the one holding themselves back, so they know they're not being visible, they know they're not being out there for the world to see, and nothing's moving forward for them, I'm going to leave this nugget of gold and I want you to really think about it. The only reason that you are not having the success that you so rightly deserve is because you are not viewing yourself as worthy of being seen and heard. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The reason you are not having the success that you so desire is because deep down inside of you, you don't feel worthy of being seen and heard. Once you feel worthy, that's when the magic happens. But you've got to get to that point. Otherwise, you're going to let all the other people take the limelight and you're in the shadow.
yes, yeah. Oh my gosh. That was an amazing quote. It's going to be a soundbite. I love that. I mean, that it's something so simple, but I mean, honestly, I know I hold myself back. I'm totally guilty of it. Like I said, I'm not too ashamed to admit it, but it's like you need to know that what you have is valuable. People need to hear it, and you need to put yourself out there. So I love that. I wrote the timing down on a few different things so I could pull the audio from that. But that's definitely a big one that's going into a soundbite.
Oh, thank you.
Melanie Whittaker, thank you so much for being here on the Goalpreneur, for sharing your information with us, all of your knowledge. And I will also put the link for the website for the membership you have starting March. Remind us, March 25th.
Oh my God, I think it's the
March
23rd. Anyway, it's the very last week of March is when I start it.
Okay. All right. We have some time. People have time. Perfect. All right. Melanie, thank you so much again for being on the Goalpreneur podcast. I really enjoyed this conversation and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Thank you so much, Courtney.
Bye, Melanie. Oh my gosh, that was so good, right? I hope you're walking away feeling inspired, fired up, and ready to take action. Listen, if anything in this episode resonated with you, if you had an aha moment or even just a little heart nudge, please do me a favor and share this episode. Send it to a friend, post it on your social media, and also tag me at I am Courtney Spaeth. And that way I can cheer you on. If you love hanging out here, please make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And also, it would mean the world to me if you left a quick review. That way, your reviews help more amazing people like you find this podcast and step into the life that they are meant for. So before I wrap up, I want to leave you with these 3 things. You are worthy of success, love, and abundance. Every step that you take brings you closer to your dreams, and you are exactly where you need to be, and you are enough just as you are. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for being here. And until next time, keep chasing those big, beautiful dreams.